how has your journey and how you've approached it affected the people around you?
You answer first.
I answer. Okay, cool.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Triumphant Strides. It's your boy Wells and your boy
AK.
welcome back to another episode of Triumphant Strides. Thank you for joining us on this Friday afternoon and tuning in. We saw that the last episode did relatively well, at least to us. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah. So thank you for those that have returned to watch, and hello to those who have just come through.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. So today I want to talk to you guys about the topic at hand, rather, let's put it like that, is dealing with growing pains. It's a topic that Amo came up with, so you can go ahead and start us off.
Okay.
With how you want to attack that?
Yeah, growing pains. At first I actually didn't even know what growing pains were. It's something that like I've heard people refer to, and then I started just reading up a bit more about it, and I realized that like when we actually grow, like from kids to, or let's say puberty, like when you actually see physical changes, growth, some people actually feel growing pains. That I didn't know. So I was like, oh damn, it's an actual thing. But then I think more related to what we're speaking about, I heard obviously the likes of Drake rapping about it, having to deal with growing pains, and I then realized that a lot of the things that I complain about, or the things that don't feel so good in this journey that I'm on, trying to build a business, I'm like, these are growing pains. Unfortunately, letting go, shedding old skin is not nice. It's not nice. And yeah, I guess thought about where we are now, and don't think we've ever, even just us, spoken about the growing pains that we deal with or have seen, and that I think also more importantly think we're going to deal with, because one thing I realized, I think not preparing myself or knowing what to expect, or even just having an idea, also makes the growing pains so much, or for me at least, it made it very difficult, because I'm like, what is going on? What am I dealing with here? But the moment I was able to say growing pains, okay, that's cool, and now I was able to sort of like forecast and be like, okay, I expect maybe this. So when I did feel that, it was a lot better. I was more prepared to say, oh no, this is just growing pains, So yeah, with that, what growing pains have you discovered, have you found along the journey?
I feel like growing pains don't always, so like you say, when you growing up, going through puberty, sometimes you feel the physical, but it doesn't always have to be like literal growing pains in your body, I guess you take it in the context of the gym, which is something that we actually don't really talk about that often, if you think about it, but I'll put it in context of the gym is adapting your body to like these new like environments that you're putting it under, or like this crazy amount of stress that it's never dealt with before, right? And waking up the next morning like, oh shit dude, my legs are so sore, or my bicep, my chest, like those are part of growing pains, right? And I feel like if you take that principle in terms of how it affects you in the gym, is not always, but if you feel pain in your muscles, then that means that you're doing something correct, right? Like you are tearing down your muscles to build them up to be even stronger, right? And that's kind of the same principle that you need to apply to growing pains in life. Is as much as it is painful right now to be going through something, it's contributing to something bigger and will help you in the future in another way, right? So for me, like, I think feeling the effects of some of my decisions would be the circumstances that I've felt these growing pains in. So I'll do something, not consider the circumstances, and then the consequence of that will follow, and it will suck to be dealing with those consequences, but dealing with those consequences will then make me think like, okay, how do I make sure that some shit like this never ever happens again, right? So for me, it's been learning to deal with consequences in a way that I don't think many people do deal with, right? Just because of the way that I'm hard on myself and such and such and such. But like I say that to say, these growing pains that I experience, I know that I'll never ever experience again because of how much they sucked. Like they fucking sucked. And that's not to say that you won't have recurring growing pains. It's not to say that you won't be exposed to new ones in the future. We can even get a bit deep a bit deep. Maybe it might be a sensitive topic for some people watching, but for example, like losing your parents, that's a very, very deep thing. Or to come close to losing your parents, those are growing pains as well. You know, it doesn't just have to be in isolation of like business, like business this, or in the gym this. Like it's everything in life. Failing in school, failing, you know, at that business that you started, losing your parents. These are things that. Specifically the losing your parents are things that we haven't dealt with yet, but we know many people who have, you know, and they've dealt with those growing pains, still feel them up until this effect, like could be 14 years, 20 years, you know. But yeah, in terms of the future growing pains, I feel like those are the ones that are still to come. You know?
I like the gym example you gave, right? Because I think anyone who has been to the gym knows that, okay, the day after, and legs specifically, you know, how painful. And I've had days where the growing pains, like speaking relative to gym, the physical pains were so sore, I considered not going again the next day, not trying again. So I think now looking at that, and since we said this does apply to not just business or not just the gym, you know, but now how does one go about that, not letting the growing pains deter you from continuing to grow, from continuing what it is that's causing the pain? Because with most other things, it causes pain, you stop it or you try to reduce it, you know, you try to counteract what's causing you pain. So how does one lock in like that mentally, or get themselves to a point where they're able to see the growing pains as growing pains and not pains, you know, something bad? That's on the spot, but
no, for sure. Okay, I think you kind of need to.
How do you do it?
Let me rather say how I do it, mate. Let me rather say that. Listen, like, it comes down to that whole situation of, do you want to grow in the first place, right? Like, there's one thing to test the waters out, and okay, let me rather put it like this: there's self-inflicted growing pains, and then there's growing pains that just come naturally, right? Now, I'll speak more to the self-inflicted growing pains. So like I say, it comes down to the question of, do you really want to grow or not, right? Or you ask yourself, why are you putting yourself in this position where you want to become better? And if that's something that you actually want to achieve, and if so, then shut up, deal with the pain of growing and go through it. That's how I do it. It's like, what level of desire do I have to achieve this one thing, and am I open to enduring whatever pain comes with that? And you really do need to like sit down and question yourself before you even go on that journey of like, okay, now I'm gonna go to the gym and I wanna bench 100 kgs. Okay, well, to bench 100 kgs, where are you first? Okay, you bench 60 kgs. How easy is it for you to jump from 60 to 100 kgs? That's 20 kgs. Now, are you able to go into the gym, do progressive overload, right? To add 5 kgs on every week, for example. And if you know that you're not able to do it, then your desire to reach 100 maybe is not for you, but you also don't want it that much. So question yourself and figure out if the thing that you're reaching or striving for is actually for you. Like, if you are sure that you want to achieve that thing. And then from there, it's a matter of your desire to do that will make the growing pains not even a thing. You'll feel it for sure, but like, it won't even matter.
Unfortunate. It's just one of the...
Yourself?
I was thinking, I try to maybe give a different answer, but I don't think there is. I think you really just have to be prepared for... Because, like you said, it doesn't just apply to this thing that you're doing or, you know, one specific thing. It's going to happen, unfortunately, with everything because... Or if you are trying anything new or trying to grow in anything, you know, it's a consequence of growth. And I guess like you said, I guess to myself just had to learn to accept the growing pains. I think for me it was really just reframing it that made the difference, you know, being able to reframe it and get myself to understand that this is growing pains. Like, this is not something that's meant to be deterring you from going or make it more difficult for you to... This is a good thing. You know, that is, I think, the only way really you can, because you can't lie to yourself and say, my legs aren't sore. My legs are sore, but that's a good thing. I think that's the mental shift that has to be made, or at least for me, the only way that I could get myself to a point of dealing with that, right?
Before we move on to the next segment, I guess it's also a thing of like hindsight, right? Like you kind of need to look at the times, your past times. So before you go on a new journey of achieving this new thing and considering the growing pains that come with that, look at your past journey of what have you achieved and what have you gotten over in the past that you sit here now and you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I went through that. Kind of use that to put it in perspective of like, oh wait, no, going through this will actually benefit me in the long run. Like, okay, me going to the gym for however many months and feeling stronger, looking better. In the moment when you're doing that shit, that was the growing pains, right? But now that you've come out on the other side of it, you're looking, you're like, oh, I'm so glad that I did that, you know? So kind of use like past examples of you overcoming those growing pains as motivation for you to move on to the next ones, I'd say.
Sorry, before we segment again.
Sure.
So I think even with that, even maybe just in the moment, getting yourself to see or reminding yourself that you never want to be here, but you don't like how this feels, you know. So you know that, man, where I am right now, these growing pains or whatever it is for the stage, write it down, you know. So like you said, in the future, you're able to look back and see exactly how you were feeling. Because I think it's very easy, say I've gone to the gym, I know how it feels, now I have big legs, fine. And then I stop for a bit. I know that it was tough, but am I still connected to it like that? You know, am I still able to remind myself, hey, the growing pains, this is going to suck, this is how it felt, you know? Just to tie in with that.
No, I like that, for sure. Do you want to start with the segment that we already did the last one, or do you want to introduce the new one?
I think this one, the one we've done before, kind of links in better with this. We'll finish.
Okay, cool.
So,
Go
like you were saying now, in terms of growing pains, essentially what you said is your feelings don't matter. And and that's what, you know, this segment is, Controversial Corner. Just to explain again, for if there is anyone new, essentially this is just us picking, I guess, something that would be considered controversial to others and giving our 2 cents beliefs on it. And this is a cancel free space, so hopefully. But your feelings don't matter. How do you feel about that sentence?
I think most of the things that I believe that, right? But I also think that these things only apply to people who are in the same boat as me. If you aren't in this boat, then that does not apply to you whatsoever. Like, if you want to, you know, go travel the world and, you know, you want to climb the corporate ladder and, you know, do like the traditional way of doing things, then you don't necessarily have to worry about your feelings not mattering, right? But now, if you're in the same boat as me, as yourself, who want to achieve these crazy phenomenal things that are like next to impossible to most people, for most people, right, then your feelings don't matter, unfortunately. Because and again, like, not to say that you should never take a break if you're tired, you should never take a break if you're burnt out, etc., but people don't want to hear about... Sorry, guys.
This guy's a busy guy.
If you come to me... Okay, let's just say we weren't friends, because that obviously takes away from it. If you were just an acquaintance that I had and you came to me and you said, yo, Wells, dude, I'm so burnt out. Like, I really don't know what to do. I'd say, dude, who gives a fuck if you're burnt out? Carry on pushing through, right? Because we speak about this all the time. The amount of people in the world that are trying to achieve the same things as you, if not more, are probably not sitting around saying like, oh, you know, I'm so tired, like I want to sleep. Like, no one gives a fuck, not a single fuck. Like, it sucks to hear, it's deep to hear, but if you want to be a person who achieves these insanely phenomenal goals, then you need to be an exceptional person. You need to be a phenomenal person, and that means that you don't worry about what other people think. You push through even when you don't want to. You do the things that you don't want to do. Let me just put my phone on do not disturb.
That's the second episode now as well.
My bad. You do the things that other people don't want to do, and you persevere when things get the hardest. That's all that it is, bro. So it's not to say that in general your feelings don't matter. It's not to say that you should disregard, you know, your mental health or disregard your physical health, but you do need to kind of draw the line between like, oh, am I just like slowing down right now, or do I actually need to take a break? You know, and I think that's where like your feelings matter and they don't matter. But for me personally, like, man, they don't.
Nah, I agree with you. But so I do agree that your feelings don't matter. Like you said, like, for people in our situation trying to get to, you know, the things that we're trying to do. But when I first heard this, or like people playing around with your feelings don't matter, I think I sort of maybe took it too literally or the wrong way. Because for me, I got to a point where I thought that even say, for example, going to you to talk about my feelings is like, why would I go to Wells? My feelings don't matter. Why would I go speak to? But then I realized that that's not helping my mental health, like you said, which still should be a priority. You know, that's not helping my emotions, my feelings, whatever I actually do have to go through. That's not helping me. But then I realized that, oh no, what that means is the universe doesn't care though. Like the world is still gonna keep moving. Things are still gonna happen. So yeah, your feelings don't matter relative to what you're trying to do. But if I am, like I said, if I'm trying to get a better mental health, then obviously they do then, you know. But if we're speaking in terms of business or the gym and my business don't care how I feel. Like if I'm sad today and don't work, cool, I didn't work, but they don't care. The next day is gonna go, and that's a missed day of progress, a missed day of whatever it is, you know. So like you said, I think it really is important just for you to know, even if I did, even with my feelings, cool, I don't feel like going. Okay, what is the significance of that to what has to be done? Like, is it just me, just my feelings here, or is it my feelings that actually affect all of this that's going on, you know? Because if there's no significance besides just I don't feel that great, then unfortunately they don't care, they don't matter. Yeah.
I think like maybe a good way to put it is, this might be a bit limiting, but like is internal and external forces. Like the internal forces, so that's like yourself, the people around you, for sure. Those things do care, right? They do care about how you feel, but the external don't. Like if you are having a bad day and you call me and say, "Wells, please come through," I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna try my best to make sure that you have a better day, right? But the gym is not gonna come to me like, "Oh, I'm on you're tired. Hey, okay, fine. Take here's the progress that you want to make." That's not gonna happen. The sun is not gonna stop and be like, "Oh, I'm almost tired. Let me pause the day and pause time so that he can recuperate and get back to it." You know. So yeah, internal versus external.
Yeah, I like that.
External sense. The world does not give a fuck. No one cares about your feelings, bro. Even strangers don't care about your feelings, unfortunately. But that's the game, bro.
Yeah.
That's the game. Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to try to play a bit of devil's advocate, because us agreeing here is a bit. Okay, so you know how we said people in our boat, right? Your feelings don't matter. But now, is it still the same, or can we say that if, say, I really do know that I have mental health issues, right? But I still do want to achieve all of this, and so me saying my feelings don't matter is not affecting the other things I'm doing. It's not affecting me going to the gym. It's not affecting this, but the way it affects me is obviously very negative, right? I now become a person who doesn't speak to anyone, you know. I'm depressed, I'm angry, all my feelings are bottled up. But even with that, I'm not letting it affect the things I'm trying to achieve, right? Is it still, I mean, it's not said it's good to say, but can we still say that for that person in our boat, your feelings don't matter still?
Nah, not never. Like, I feel like to begin with, even to go on this journey, especially if you're somebody who struggles with mental health, dude, is you need to make sure that that's in check, right? Because like you need to be the best version of yourself that you possibly can be to become an even better version of yourself. I've personally believe so. Like if you are somebody who suffers from like severe anxiety, like you need to get that in check first, bro, before you even think about putting yourself under even more strenuous conditions that are gonna probably raise your cortisol levels to the point where like you're gonna have to go to the hospital, like on a real thing. So you need to get that in check and be able to differentiate between like, okay, this is where like I'm entering into the danger zone and I'm playing with my mental health, and this is where like I'm persevering to like my healthy limits. You know, I feel like it's different rules, I guess, in that case, you know. I'll leave it there. I'd rather say that.
I was just playing devil's advocate.
No,
so
really
yeah.
Alright.
Okay. No, I like that. Okay. No, I like that. Okay, so now the next segment is a new segment. Leaves us very exposed. And this is called Honest and Unfiltered. So essentially here, just be honest. You know, not that we lie to you guys, but here, we're gonna try be as raw, honest, deep as possible. Obviously too, where you're comfortable, but Yeah, and the topic for the segment or the question, whatever, is how has your journey and how you've approached it affected the people around you?
You answer
I
first.
answer. Okay, cool. Both good and also very bad. So the good, when I started my journey, like I've always said, I was a very different person, and not that I was negative or bad for the people around me, but when I started, changing, when I started implementing, the right habits, good habits, then it also rubbed off on the people around me. I saw people around me also want to work on themselves, also want to work towards something. I've had amazing conversations where people came up to me, it's like, I've seen the things you've done, how do you go around that? How do I get, so I think in that regard, it's really, really influencing and motivating the people around me. I think the reason why we even have this channel, it's much better seeing someone that's closer to you, or someone that is closer in age, someone that just more similarities, or closer you are to the person, just feels more possible for you to do the things they're doing as well. So on that part, it's really helped, the people around me. And that also became a driving force for me, seeing me doing this, the ripple effect it has on those around me. I was like, oh, okay, let me keep doing this for them. But not the inverse of that, which is the deeper part, I guess. When I'm not doing those things, or when I'm not in the best mental space, or say, I don't know, something's going wrong in this department, I tend to sort of go into like an emergency mode where, okay, let me go off my phone completely. Let me not see anyone completely so I can sort this out and get this in order and do this. I sort of deal with things sort of like the extreme, and because of that, I think the people around me don't have access to me the way they'd want to. I think, yeah, I think the people around me just may feel like they don't have me enough, not enough time, or maybe even that I'm uninterested, and part of that may be true, but just not in a bad way, or how it comes across, So I think, yeah, people just don't really have my attention or time the way they'd want. And yeah, I think that's it. I go off, I ghost, disappear. And I'm also more irritable when things on where I'm not on top of my game. I know that I'm not doing XYZ, and now when I am doing this, you now want to see me, or you want me to do this, or you want to talk. It's like, bro, this is the only time I can. I'm trying to save myself. And because of that, I think it just comes off across as though I don't want to, I don't have time, or I'm even maybe better than, So, yeah.
Do you think that's ever gonna change?
I do, because I'm working on it.
But while you're simultaneously working on that, you're probably gonna the other things that you're working on are going to be more and more demanding, which will take away from your time of working on it. So do you really think it's going to change?
Yeah, because you see, the issue though is, let's say our friendship now, right? If I take 3 months, 4 months, say, to work on this, for me to get to a point where I'm like, well, I'm available for you, are you going to be able to stay those 3-4 months?
That's cheating.
No.
You can't use me.
No, I'm saying like anyone, any of my people, are they going to be able to make it to the end where I am that person? So like, I really do think it is going to change, because the issue is not that I am actually too busy, or it's because, like I said, when I slack here, when I'm not doing what I should be, it sort of becomes everyone else's fault. You know what I'm saying? So I don't go to the gym, I don't work. Well, I'm going to take the rest of the month to fix that. So now all of you guys are going to suffer because I didn't do that. So I think, like I said, the way I make things extreme, I deal with them like it's an emergency. I think that will change. But will the people experiencing that now make it to the point where they get to see that I've worked on that? I don't know. Yeah.
Nice. Jeez, brother.
I hope you guys do. I love you guys, I promise.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
And you? What are the people around you?
I don't know. Like, I feel like I've noticed, I'm not going to call it like a power dynamic, but like I've noticed that a lot of the conversations, or a lot of the stuff that I used to talk about with like a lot of people, because I don't associate with certain things anymore, like they are very hesitant to now like share that with me. Like I don't know if it's like out of fear of judgment that I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, why the fuck are you talking about that, or like that, you know, like yeah. And it's kind of like changed like the dynamic, like in some of, not even friendships, like even just like acquaintances, you know. It's like hey man, how you doing, you good? But before it's like, yo, what's up boy, did you see like this, you know. So I feel like a lot of people have kind of felt like they need to like filter, or like can't be them the truest selves, because like it's gonna be faced with some like judgment, or like, you know, like nah, you shouldn't be doing that. But like I'm like, no dude, I'm doing all of this for myself. Like anything that I don't do and you do, I don't even clock it, mate. You know what I mean? It's just, it's for me and my own personal journey, you know. I also feel like, I don't know if it's a bad thing, but to me, the way that it's manifested itself is kind of like in a calm way. It's like, I don't get invited out to places anymore. I don't, and this is like a birthday party, you know. Like I set this limit of like, I won't be at this, I won't be at that, but I will 100% be at this. So any birthday dinners, birthday things, any like important things, I will be there 100%. Anything else is a waste of my time. Don't invite me to that. I don't want to be there 100%. And I don't know how this affects the room when I'm not there, but from the outside looking in, it seems like the differentiation has been made pretty much among like all of my friends. They're like, oh, okay, now we're not going to invite you to that. So like I can be on Instagram and see like a story at some place that I said I don't want to be, and it's like, for me, I'm just like, oh, okay, they clock, you know. So it kind of has like set boundaries, you know. It's affecting my relationships like that. It's like there's now boundaries that people follow, but the most negative one I'd say is like, I think people sometimes feel like judged or like scared to like be their truest selves, because it'll be faced by me just being like, nah, it's weird, I don't do that, you know. Yeah, man.
I hear you. I like that. Okay, so that's not really related to, I guess, the segment anymore, but just what you said. I think I also once sort of fell into that with you, actually. Like the thinking of, oh shit, I know that there's things that I'm meant to be doing and I'm not, and I know Wells is doing them. Now when you hear, it's like, let me maybe not speak about this, let me not, oh sorry guys, I didn't mean to whisper in the mic, but you know, like, yeah, I don't want to show you that I haven't been doing these things. And then I really sat down and I was like, why are you like trying to hide who you are, like with Wells especially, like we've been on this journey. And I was like, for me, I think it's just knowing that I can do better, you know. I think it was more nothing to do with you, more everything to do with me. I knew that you know, the thing we spoke about, like you are you're the, not a representation, what's the word, like you are everything that I know I should be, can be doing, but I'm not. And I'm seeing now, here's where leaders results. You know, when you come, I'm like, oh, he looks good, he looks happy, he looks this.
Appreciate that.
For sure. And I know that maybe that week or when we whatever, I wasn't doing it. So now when I do see you, it's like, maybe let me not speak about it so you can still think that I'm on top. And I'm like, dude, he's doing this all for him, you know. So I had to, like, for myself, reframe and remind myself that, yo, I'm doing this it's my journey. So even when I'm having that week when I'm not doing the things, or if I fall back to this habit, I know that obviously we'll talk and you'll tell me, we'll have our chat, but you're not gonna make me feel bad about it, because you also understand that it's my journey.
I'll call it out, but I won't make you ever feel bad about it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I think it really just is that, you know, with, in terms of like what you said, people around you maybe feeling like that better than complex, you know, like, he's, I think it has everything to do with the person, that in, you know, themselves, because from what I've known, I don't think either of us have gone out to deliberately make someone feel bad for anything, any choice that they do, regardless of if we do it or not, you know. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of tackling that internally.
Yeah, I feel like that should kind of be the takeaway from it, is like with your close friends, who, like, let's say you guys are on a similar journey to like Amo and I and so forth, like, don't be scared to like be vulnerable with them and tell them like, yo, I slacked in this, or I messed up in this, because you're scared that they perhaps didn't do the same thing. Like, it's even good to ask like, yo, dude, I slipped up in this, like, I know maybe to you it hasn't been obvious, but have you slipped up in this? Like, and you don't be scared to face judgment. Of course, like, be ready to hear like criticism that comes from the heart of like, yo, maybe you shouldn't have done this, or do this so that you don't ever fall into that again, or whatever. But don't be scared to like be vulnerable with your friends just because you're scared of how they're gonna, you know, react to you, or react to the things that you've done. Like, it shouldn't be like that. You're on a journey together. It's the first time both of you are on this journey. It's the first time both of you are ever living a life, at least that we know, right? Like, it's your first time ever like living. So like, give yourself some grace, but don't cut yourself too much slack.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that is Growing Pains.
That's Growing Pains, guys. Close it off.
Oh yeah, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you again for the past episode. Thank you for the love. Thank you for all new subscribers. You know, please keep it up. Let us know what you guys want to see, hear more of, guests that you want to see on. And yeah, we'll try our best on our part to be consistent, and we'll check you guys next time.
Peace, guys.